Picture this. A former governor turned Homeland Security Secretary walks into a congressional hearing room. What happened next left Democrats stammering and exposed the truth about our border crisis that Washington desperately wanted to keep quiet. And right now, we're going to show you the moment Kristi Noem turned the tables for accusers and revealed exactly who's been undermining our border security from within. The exchanges that followed were so explosive, 3 committee members literally walked out of the room. But it's what was said after they left that has everybody talking, and the implications are staggering. So don't look away. And if you're outraged about what's happening at our border, you're probably feeling that pain and inflammation from your blood pressure rising. Well, Dr. Josh has discovered something remarkable, just like Secretary Noem is exposing the truth about our border crisis. This breakthrough turmeric formula is exposing the lies about chronic pain. While politicians play games with our security, you don't have to play games with your health. This special turmeric extract is 200 times more powerful than standard turmeric. So visit goldenrevive.com/NNN to see how it works. Okay, so let's jump in to this first clip. Out the gate, Secretary Noem cooking Representative Dan Goldman, defending an illegal immigrant gang member more than he defends his own constituents. We're going to play this, but then we've got Tom McCullough at the White House reporting, giving us some more information. So let's check this out.
Like this.
Mr. Abrego Garcia, pursuant to this court order.
It's got to be extremely discouraging to be one of your constituents. To see you fight for a terrorist like this and not fight for them is extremely alarming to me.
I'm fighting for due process, and that's under the Constitution. Gentlemen's time has expired. Due process. Mr. Abrego Garcia, pursuant
oh, no, I gotta watch
to this
again.
Court order.
It's got to be extremely discouraging to be one of your constituents.
Ooh. Yes, you are going to need some ice for that burn, Mr. Goldman. Now let's jump in to the White House. Tom McCullough on the scene. Bombshell testimony. Kristi Noem exposes the border victory under Trump. 93% invasion reduction. Deep state minions caught lying. 6 cartels designated as terrorists. Noem dismantling open border scheme. Secret Service cleansed of DI poison. America first, baby. Let's check in with Tom at the White House.
Hey guys, this is Tom McCullough reporting from the White House with the Next News Network. And folks, President Trump is delivering big league for you, the American people. And today's news just proves it. From border security to trade, the Trump administration is putting America first, and nobody's fighting harder than Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. So let's go ahead and dive into what's happening. First, the southern border. Under Trump's leadership, it's the most secure in history. Ex-posts are buzzing about a 93% drop in border crossings since Trump took office. April's numbers, just 7,200 encounters, the lowest ever, compared to Biden chaos of 15,000 per day. This is what winning looks like. Secretary Noem's team at DHS is crushing it, targeting cartels and criminals like MS-13, fentanyl smuggling. It's down 54% in March alone. ICE is arresting thousands, deporting dangerous illegals, and Trump's even labeled 6 cartels as terrorist group. I've got a clip from Noem's congressional hearing where she lays out this incredible turnaround. She's talking borders, cartels, and Trump's vision. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Under President Trump and his leadership, we have already delivered for the American people a drastic turnaround in Homeland Security, from the southern border to our Coast Guard to cyberspace, and we're just getting started. We've delivered the most secure border in American history. At the southern border, we have obtained near total control, with daily encounters down 93% since President Trump has been in office. March saw the lowest numbers in American history of border encounters at just 7,200. Under the previous administration, U.S. Customs and Border Protection was at times under Joe Biden encountering over 15,000 people per day. This astonishing turnaround is a testament to the resolve and to the leadership of President Trump to make America safe again. And as well, it is a testament to the incredible work done by the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security. The secure border has allowed Border Patrol to zero in on fighting cartels and all of their illicit activities. Under President Trump's leadership, 6 cartels, 4 dangerous and criminal gangs have been designated as foreign terrorist organizations. This has allowed us to take a whole-of-government approach to address the illegal activities that these murderers and drug traffickers are taking on. In March, fentanyl traffic at the border fell by 54% compared to the previous year. and we are enforcing immigration laws to identify, arrest, detain, and remove dangerous illegal criminals. We're prioritizing those who have committed crimes and aliens who are a threat to public safety and national security, especially those that are affiliated with terrorist organizations like MS-13 and Tren de Aragua. Includes those that already have final orders of removal.
Now let's talk about trade and more. Noem's pushing Trump America First agenda, undoing Biden's disastrous policies that limit our jobs. Tariffs are working, bringing leverage back to America. She's also fixing FEMA with a new review council, boosting cybersecurity to protect us from digital threats, and strengthening the Coast Guard, our only military branch under DHS's authority. And the Secret Service? Noem's scrapping Biden's woke DEI nonsense, focusing on real recruitment to keep our leaders safe. Expos are fired up about Noem calling out lawmakers for a lawless stunt at a detention center, risking officer safety. She's not playing games. Here's Noem in her hearing detailing Trump's trade wins, Secret Service reforms, and more. Let's go ahead and check this out.
We've also worked to enforce President Trump's America First trade agenda, and Joe Biden's trade policies hollowed out our industrial base, shipped our jobs overseas. Our tariffs have been an effective negotiating tool, and we're also reforming emergency management in this country. We have the FEMA Review Council, which will be doing its work to make recommendations to the White House. We are also addressing cybersecurity, making sure that CISA's back on mission at protecting the homeland, and the Coast Guard is the only U.S. military branch under the umbrella of the Department of Homeland Security. We're making sure they have the resources and the vision to leave and be the point of the spear in the future. Since I took office, one of the responsibilities that I have is in reforming the Secret Service. We've reassessed Secret Service's needs, gotten recruitment away from Biden administration's DEI objectives, and made sure that they are equipped and ready to take on the task of protecting the more powerful into the future. We are so grateful for their bravery, their dedication, and their patriotism. It's our responsibility to continue providing them with the resources that they need to continue to do the important work that they do. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for the time today. Thank you for allowing me to be here to get the facts out to the American people and to members of this committee of all of the good work that the people of the Department of Homeland Security are doing to serve the American public. With that, I look forward to your questions.
And guys, this is the Trump effect. It's lit up with praise for his policies. Border arrests are down, smuggling routes are collapsing, and America's safety first. One post nailed it. Trump's enforcement works despite radical judges trying to block deportations. Noem's hearing showed she's all in for Trump's vision, refusing to bow to Democrats who are whining about deportations. She's fighting for you, the forgotten American, against the open border elites. President Trump's leadership is restoring law and order, and Kristi Noem's delivering results. From cyberspace to our shores, this administration is just getting started. And guys, that's all it for now. Stay strong, stay proud, and keep fighting. God bless. Hey guys.
Thank you for that report, Tom, at the White House. Let's keep going. Check this out. Jim Stewartson says this is one of the most awe-inspiring, righteous, patriotic American takedowns I've ever seen. Watch how every Democrat needs to talk from now on.
Duly appropriated by. Well, let me ask you the follow-up question here, because I have a lot of them. Do you agree that Article 1 of the Constitution gives Congress the power of the purse? Yes or no?
Yes, it is a duty.
Do you believe that, let me ask you another follow-up, it's just yes or no. Do you believe you have the power to disregard congressional appropriations and unilaterally repurpose funds that have been duly appropriated by Congress? Yes or no?
Ma'am, we are not doing that.
So the answer to you is no. All right, well, it was a yes or no, Secretary. Let me, interestingly, you said no. But since you've been Secretary, you have repeatedly disregarded the law. You have illegally impounded funds that Congress appropriated and that your branch of government must implement pursuant to the law. Yet you've closed offices established in law, including the Office for Civil Rights and Civil Liberties, the Office of the Immigration Detention Ombudsman, the Office of the Citizenship and Immigration Service, and you've canceled contracts for programs authorized in law, including shelter and service programs and citizenship and integration grants.
Well, let's hold the phone for a second. Everything that's been canceled, anything that's been redirected, is in the name of real national security. Not what this Democrat's attempting to do to Kristi Noem. Yeah, a righteous takedown, huh? No. See, Noem is there exposing everything. And that's why they're so pissed. That's why they're attempting to chop her down with all these attack lines. No, the real righteous takedown is from Kristi Noem. Watch.
You've obstructed and roughed up members of this committee as they attempted to conduct congressional oversight, and then you vilified them. But my question is, if they were so bad, why were they allowed to go in after to conduct oversight? Let me just...
Of course she's going to vilify them. Because they care more about the illegal immigrants in this country than their own constituents, as you saw at the very beginning of this segment.
Continue. You redirected funds to terrorize our communities. You created taxpayer-funded political propaganda campaigns to terrorize families and children who don't sleep at night because of the...
Oh, please, 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 spare me. Spare me. Oh, we have more from Dan Goldman. But Kristi Noem tells the truth.
Give him.
Abrego did. He
Stop
was
filibustering.
surrounded by gang members of MS-13.
Will you give Mr. Abrego Garcia the due process that the Supreme Court and Judge Wilkinson has required you to give him?
Abrego Garcia is an El Salvador resident who is in his home country. If he were to come back to this country, he would be immediately removed again.
You know.
He has received and been treated appropriately.
So
and he is not.
How can you say he's been treated appropriately if the Supreme Court has ruled 9-0? 9-0 that he hasn't been treated appropriately. Why is your opinion better and have more authority than the Supreme Court?
Investigators, 2 judges, an immigration court that all said he was MS-13 and was removed from this country.
But you understand, that is you saying that. That is you saying that.
That is them saying that. This
no.
is investigators and law
that is
enforcement
you making that determination.
Case they built against him. If you don't trust
Oh my goodness. Okay, the courts designated that. More gaslighting from Goldman.
Has considered all that. The judge has considered all that, Madam Secretary.
The judges, he says it himself, the judges considered that.
Quiet, because I'm reclaiming my time. You are not following this court order. But let's focus on the court order, because this opinion also says that to facilitate, which the Supreme Court is requiring, is an active verb. It requires that steps be taken. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia to allow him to get due process?
Abrego Garcia is in his home country.
What steps have you taken?
If your continued advocacy for him were to...
I'm advocating for him. I'm advocating for a court order, Madam Secretary. The court order says that you must take steps to follow the court order. You are here under oath. What steps have you taken to return Mr. Abrego Garcia pursuant to this court order?
It's got to be extremely discouraging to be one of your constituents. To see you fight for a terrorist like this and not fight for them is extremely alarming to me.
I'm fighting for due process. And that's under the Constitution.
Gentleman's time has expired.
Due process.
The gentleman's time.
Oh, man. Listen to that guy defending terrorists. Kristi Noem, check this out, Gunter Eagleman posting this. Kristi Noem agrees that suspending the writ of habeas corpus should be considered, acknowledging an invasion occurred under Biden. He says it must happen immediately.
Radical political. Secretary Noem, I'm very concerned about the behavior of one of my colleagues on this very committee, who we saw assaulting both verbally and physically federal law enforcement officers just last week on national television. Ms. Noem, what kind of message do you think it sends to the country and radical political agitators that she sits here today, not being charged for a crime, to participate in today's hearing?
Well, Congressman, I believe that what you saw last Friday at Delaney Hall was not oversight. I believe that it was breaking into a federal facility and assaulting law enforcement officers. This Congresswoman was surrounded by people who were criminals that were taking criminal actions. And so we need to be honest about what happened there. And we also need to talk about the fact that we have always facilitated visits and tours of federal facilities. We would continue to do that as well. And we would encourage that they work with us to do that in the future rather than to do the unprecedented destructive actions that the Congresswoman and her colleagues engaged in last Friday.
Ms. Noem, do you think her presence here today emboldens others to behave in the very same way?
I think it would be sad if that's the testimony of what happened last Friday that gets perpetuated. I was shocked when I watched it and saw it, and was extremely discouraged to see that the colleagues that surround those three defend them. Because those actions, we wouldn't want our kids to act that way, our children, our grandchildren to act that way. That's not the America that we dreamed and envisioned for our country. America should be a land of opportunity and where laws are enforced, and there's consequences for breaking the law.
Thank you. Ms. Noem, are you familiar with Article 1, Section 9, Clause 2 of the Constitution that covers the suspension of the writ of habeas corpus?
Yes.
It says that the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless, when cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. Are you aware of which presidents have suspended the writ of habeas corpus?
I know that President Lincoln did.
Yeah, also Roosevelt and President Grant. You testified under oath, I believe, that the Biden administration allowed an invasion into our country. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So do you think it falls under the constitutional guidelines that I just read to you?
I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I believe it does.
You've also witnessed that the Democrats here today and also radical activist judges are trying to halt and deny the president's agenda to carry out his constitutional duties to keep Americans safe and carry out his promise to the American people to secure the border and carry out mass deportations of those who have entered the country illegally. Knowing this, are you open and supportive of this constitutional option to suspend the writ of habeas corpus to keep Americans safe and carry out the president's agenda?
Well, this is something that's not in my purview to weigh in on. This is the president's prerogative to pursue, and he has not indicated to me that he will or will not be taking that action.
I want to thank Rogan O'Hanley for his efforts to bring this constitutional solution into the national conversation. Now I want to shift gears real quick. Ms. Noem, Secretary Noem,
Yes, he did bring that up in the press room when I was there. He was in the new media seat. Here we have Representative Eric Swalwell. I have a 7-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 3-year-old. I have a BS detector. I'm asking you, is this doctored or not? Instructing his staffer to hold up a photo in front of Noem's face.
On this photo, right? Job. And so I want to put to rest this question about Mr. Garcia in this photo that the president posted on April 21. Madam Secretary, you agree the letters MS and the number 13 in Times Roman numeral font, that they are doctored on this photo, right?
Congressman Abrego Garcia.
No, I'm just asking about this photo.
It wasn't based off of tattoos. It was based off an entire case.
And I'll accept
case against him.
For the purpose of this question, you agree, though, that this is doctored. Is that right?
The same protocols that are
Madam
applied
Secretary,
to every
I want you to have
individual with
credibility,
law enforcement.
and I want you to be taken seriously. Is it doctored or is it not
Sir,
doctored?
I am taken quite seriously.
Is it
because I
doctored
approach
or
my
not
job
doctored?
With the importance that the president has given me to do
I
my
understand.
job.
Is it doctored or not
One thing
doctored?
that's important to remember is that every single time a case is built.
Madam Secretary, I have a
individuals
7-year-old, a
with the same
6-year-old, and a
protocols.
3-year-old. I have a bullshit detector. I'm just asking you, is this doctored or not doctored?
Sir, the protocols in the case built against
Can you
Abrego
answer the
Garcia
question?
were exactly the same.
Madam Secretary,
I don't have
you're-
any knowledge as to that photo you're pointing to.
Okay, can you
I
take her,
don't, sir.
can you show her the photo? Walk her the photo down there. No, that one. Please take a look at this photo. It was tweeted by the president on April 21. It's been hanging out there for about a month.
So what is your point?
My question is the numbers and the letter MS-13. Could you look at the photo, please? It's right in front of
Are
you.
you saying Abrego Garcia is not a wife beater?
No, ma'am.
That he's not a criminal.
Ma'am,
He's not a human trafficker. And he's not a member of MS.
You vouched for Mr. Garcia when
You're
your team
vouching for
said,
a man
ma'am, you
that
vouched
is
for
a
him when
known
you said he was
violent
mistakenly
criminal.
deported.
Sir,
I didn't vouch for him.
I did say
In that
he
photo,
should have been deported. Absolutely.
It's so
There was
telling
never
that
a
you
mistake
won't look at the
to deport
photo.
him, and we will not be bringing
Was
him back
it
to this
doctored or
country.
not?
In staying here, if
Can you
he
look
comes
to
back
your
the
right
country, he
at
would
the
be
photo in
taken
front
right
of you?
away.
Wow.
Madam Secretary.
Badgering the witness. She simply said, I have no knowledge of that photo. Homeland Security posted this just 9 hours ago. Kilmer Abrego Garcia is a confirmed MS-13 terrorist, a wife beater, and a human trafficker. We have confronted the media and public with overwhelming evidence. Still, members like Swalwell continue to call him a victim while ignoring the real victims. DHS and ICE have reopened the Voice office to provide essential resources to the victims of families of illegal alien crime. Noem is holding criminal illegal aliens in sanctuary cities accountable.
Gave victims, one of the things that I think was most tragic of the last administration is they even prevented us from having data to start with.
Yep.
For instance, President Trump in his first administration opened the Voices office at ICE, which gave victims of illegal immigrant crime an opportunity to get information, to have support systems, to get case information, to know when that individual was in court, when they were going to be released. When President Biden became president, he shut that office down, which means that because it didn't exist, we don't truly know how many victims of illegal crime there are out there. We don't have the data. So continuing to have systems in place where you're bringing light to the fact that there are victims still out there and that people are still enduring criminal activity by illegal immigrants and that they shouldn't be prioritized over American citizens is very important. One of the things that I think was most tragic of the last.
So what Secretary Noem revealed today, it's not just about immigration. It's about a deliberate attempt to fundamentally transform America through our own institutions. So the question we need to ask ourselves is how many other officials were actively working to undermine our nation's sovereignty? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is only just beginning. And speaking of things that are beginning, we have been overwhelmed by the response to our store's latest collection. Patriots across the country are making their voices heard. Click the link in the description at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and join the movement that is sweeping across America.